This, good readers, is the Ride Wildlife, and you know, it's everything I wanted the Berserker to be. It's just damp, it's fast, it's mean. I like this board so much I even waxed it. I usually never do that with boards that are sent to me. I just hate, I don't mind the actual application of the wax with the iron. It's just all that damn scraping. So I even waxed this just to see how fast the board really was. And just love it. Really my only issue is just the edges just don't seem to grab as well. They also don't feel like they're maybe quite as sharp as some edges out of the factory, because I pulled this out of the wrapper. I mean, they sent this to me brand new, so any marks you see on here, sorry, me, and my crew. But you know, just damp and fast and fun, and when it's waxed it carries its speed pretty well. It wasn't exceptional or anything like that, but it had a good glide to it, and a glide that you kind of expect for this price point. You know, laying this down on the table, it's not, it feels like there's a lot more camber going on, but there is a touch of early rise. But it feels like the way the board I got, it feels like there's a healthy bow of camber under here, and then it kind of doesn't really seem to rise up much. It feels like it's like almost like camber to flat. However, you can see a touch of early rise here, and when you press down you kind of see like what's really going on. But here's the thing, with demo boards like this, oftentimes camber profiles are a little different. Well, the way they describe this, you know, on Ride site, and not Ride site because this is ahead. I'm doing this ahead of their site launch. But the way they describe this on their catalog is there's a little early rise rocker here and a little more early rise rocker in the nose. And here's the thing, wood bends differently board per board. So just like with hybrid rockers, sometimes the tip and tail are up higher and sometimes they're up lower depending on which board you buy. With hybrid camber like this, you get the same thing. So what you might actually get is a board that actually looks a little more like this on snow and might have a little less camber, and this rocker might bend up a little bit more. But I like that aggressive camber feel and felt it did a really good job. And if you hold it like this, you can kind of see it looks a little more hybrid camber. You can kind of see the transition zones, at least I can. Like you can see it kind of bending up here and bending up here, and you'll see that with the Ride Machete 2 GT. But all in all, you know, I think you're going to get, you know, a good bit of float, and we even rode this in powder and it did pretty well. One thing I love doing on the table, other than showing you the base under the pretty lights, this is, I believe, die cut. I think so, yeah. And with just a good wax job, I couldn't really feel the die cut. So not usually a fan of that cutting in there, but they did a good job, and you know, looks like a spider web or a prison tattoo, whatever you want to do there. The stance width here is pretty good. The reference stance is 22. And this is what I love about aggressive all mountain boards. You can kind of ride them up and centered and then set them all the way back and get a little more surfy if you want, and ride them a little more centered and get more of a double ender feel, you know, on groomer days. And so I really like that. But let's get down to it. Like, let's say setting it up, you know, you have a 22-inch reference stance, but let's just say if you were to set it all the way back with a non-mini disc, you're looking at 22 3/4 or about 58 centimeters, which is pretty cool, okay? And then, so if we do that, it's just a little shy of 21.5 to this middle insert here on a full disc, full-size disc, and 17, just about 17, just a little short of 17. So we'll just, you know, they're both about the same there. So you're looking at 4.5 inches back at 21, almost 21 and a half, and almost 17, which is really cool because that's kind of what you expect from an all mountain board. That's kind of on the good side. 4.5 back is really far. You're getting really surfy, and if you decided to go with a mini disc, which Ride offers a lot of mini discs, you're still 58 centimeters in terms of stance width and about 23 3/4, just about. And so you're just setting it back a little bit more. Like this is 21 3/4 and to about the center there. And this is more like 16 and a half. So you're getting even further back, you know, which is really cool. Yeah, so you're getting like closer to, you know, like 25 1/4, which is, you know, so you're basically, you're getting to 5 1/4, going up from 4.5 to 5 1/4. So with a mini disc all the way back at a reasonable stance width, which is one of my personal favorites, 58 centimeters is like, wow, that's my sweet spot. You can set this all the way back, and that's great, you know. And the more we rode this board, the more we liked it for that aggressive all mountain rider, and we felt that it's just a really nice fit in that aspect. You know, it's not the easiest board to butter, it's not the easiest board for screwing around, but you can see it's got that kind of like directional shape, but still the same tail width. So if you like to take it switch, it'll ride switch a lot better than the look shows you. It's still not a, you know, a dream switchboard, but all in all, this has just a really good, aggressive, balmy feel to it that I think a lot of riders who just like to straight line, but also like to turn and like to carve, and you know, really just want a damp, fast board that they can really point. That might even be forgiving if you get a, you know, a slightly different tweak to the camber profile than I got. You'll really like this board. But it just really, just everything about this says aggressive all mountain, and that's what Ride's known for, is being really damp, really mean, and strong and fast. And this does everything that the Berserker doesn't. The Berserker felt hooky and kind of weird. This does not. This you can go straight without it kind of saying, hey, I want to turn, I want to turn, I want to turn. That's what the Berserker always did. The minute you started going straight, it didn't feel loose like hybrid rocker boards that do this, you know, when you're flat basing. This felt like the tip and tail, the ends of the side cut, the end of the effective edge were telling you to turn. So it was hooking. It wasn't loose and skatey, it was hooking. And that's a scary sensation, and it's not fun. It tells you you should always be turning. Where this doesn't do that. It turns almost as fast as the Berserker, but straight lines too. So it has a normal side cut, like kind of that I'm used to with every board. It's a fast turning, just really well-rounded, aggressive all mountain board.